For Premier, it would get cut back to right around $87, $88. Okay, so that's claim savings for the group. It's also out-of-pocket savings for an individual member because he or she's co-insurance would be based off of a discounted amount. Does that make sense? Yeah, nationally we have over 152,000 total licensed dentists. And again, both of these networks will work in conjunction with each other. So your groups will never have to say, okay, I want the plan that offers the PPO network. I want the plan that offers Premier. The good news is they're both offered under our products with Delta Dental. They get the benefit of both networks under one contract. These are just some of the larger, more recognizable employers that are Delta Dental partners in the area. And as you can see, both on the Indiana side, in southern Indiana, and on the Kentucky side. And as you can see, we have a lot of different markets represented, from hospitals to manufacturers, municipalities, schools, et cetera. Now, one of the things that we do bring, I mentioned earlier that there's a correlation between oral health and overall health, and that's incumbent in the Delta Dental plans that will be offered to One Southern Indiana members. For instance, periodontal disease or gum disease is a big indicator for other medical risk factors. You see them up here: diabetes, preterm births, heart disease, stroke. We see that there are a number of correlations between the two. Someone who has periodontal disease, for instance, an expectant mother could be as much as 7 times greater, should have a 7 times greater risk of delivering preterm than an expectant mother who does not have periodontal disease. So what we try to do is we try to identify those members who fall under those medical risk categories. And what we do is we offer 4 annual cleanings payable at 100%. If you look at the plan designs here, which we'll do in a second, those are payable at 100%, no deductible. Okay, so normally the contracts, and this is standard throughout the dental industry, pay for 2 cleanings a year. I'm sure most of you have probably seen that. 2 cleanings a year is typically what you get. Well, with Delta, under our plans, because we know of the correlations between those medical risk factors and oral health and periodontal disease in particular, then anyone who falls under any of these medical risk factors, even if they're at a risk, if they have a family risk or family history for heart disease, then they can have 4 cleanings a year. It's just by the way that the dentist submits the claim to us, that's how we know. There's a special notation, a coding that the dentist will put on the claim form. And we call it our evidence-based dentistry platform, and it's also known as Healthy Mouth, Healthy Body for those of you who would write business in Kentucky. They have the same thing that offers the same type of additional cleanings. We also have our oral brush biopsy benefit. It's a deterrent to oral cancer. We're really trying to work hard to cut down on the frequency of oral cancer and the risk of oral cancer. And we have our oral brush biopsy benefit that's also covered under the diagnostic and preventive benefit classification with Delta. Both of these, the evidence-based dentistry for the medical risk factors, as well as the oral brush biopsy, they're standard benefits under Delta's contract. It's not the type of benefit that your group would say, yeah, I want this or I don't. They're automatically included. Okay, let's talk a little bit about plan design and administration and how this will work for the dental coverage. Each of you has a folder. You have copies of the slides that I just went over. And then right behind there, you have a brochure that looks like this. And I want to just go over a couple of highlights from this brochure because you basically have one base plan to offer to your groups, but that one base plan has a lot of different potential adjustments that you can make. You can adjust the deductible, you can adjust the annual maximum, you can waive waiting periods, and each one of those adjustments has a cost factor involved with it. If you open up the front page and you go to that second page under where it says the plan that puts you on the right path, this is for groups anywhere from 2 to 49 lives. Okay, and I'm going to get into what, you know, some of the key talking points about any group that you would have that's over 50 lives, you know, the 51 to 99 segment here in just a minute. But our plan, and we've structured this specifically to meet the needs of One Southern Indiana members. Our plan offers comprehensive benefits that mostly will, you know, that will pay 100% for any preventive and diagnostic service with no waiting periods. And if you flip to the third page, you'll come to a benefit summary. It'll say, you know, One Southern Indiana Advantage Plan. That's the name of the plan that's being offered as part of One Southern Indiana. Okay, it's called the Advantage Plan. If you see that benefit summary, you'll see that all of the, you know, the exams, the cleanings, et cetera, the bite wing x-rays are all covered at 100%. And then we have, you know, then you get into the basic services, which, you know, it's your basic 180/50 plan design. Okay, we do have waiting periods that apply to these benefits. 6-month waiting period for basic, and then a 12-month waiting period for major, for anything that's covered under endodontics, periodontics, onlays, crowns, et cetera. And then there's also a 12-month waiting period for orthodontic coverage. Now, a couple things on the waiting periods. First of all, if you have a client, if you have a group that is coming over to Delta Dental under One Southern Indiana, and that group currently has dental coverage and has had it in place for at least 12 months, then you know, those waiting periods would be automatically waived. Okay, we just need to get a copy of the prior carrier billing and/or certificate. Now, let's say you have a group that's never had dental coverage before, and you have these waiting periods in here, but your group contact says, you know, I really don't want those waiting periods in there. I really want to offer this as a special perk to my employees. They can waive the waiting periods, and then if you flip back 2 more pages, you have, I'm sorry, 3 more pages. You have a rating impact down here that would give you all of what those rating impacts would be for all of those different adjustments. So, you know, if your employee contact says, you know, let's waive, you know, we don't have current coverage, but I still don't want the waiting periods, then you can go down to the very bottom adjustment. It's 11% increase to the rates. And that's all you would have to do. A lot of this can be, you know, really field underwritten by you as the producer. You would just take our rates, which you see above, you know, we've broken them out by 2 to 9, and then by 10 to 49. Those are the base rates for the plan design as is, as you see it back on the plan summary page. Okay. Now, the base plan consists of a $100 lifetime deductible that would apply to everything. Now, we know that not all of your groups are going to want to have a $100 lifetime deductible, so that's why we have made available the opportunity to adjust the deductible to go to the normal $51.50, you know, or $25.75, or even $0. If you have an employer that says, I don't want any deductible, I'll pay more for it, I really want to take good care of my employees, then you know, you can just add 15% to the base rates, and there would be no deductible for any services. So this gives you a progression of what all of those adjustments would look like, depending on, again, what you feel would best meet the needs of your particular group and their members. Okay, you may have another group contact that may say, well, you know, I just want a bare bones base plan. Let's keep it as is. Waiting periods, the whole 9 yards. Then that's fine. I mean, you have that's what the base rates here are for that you see on this page. Okay, and then any adjustment that you would want to make, increasing the maximum, increasing the annual maximum. There's a $1,000 annual maximum for the base plan. Okay, if you want to bump that up to $1,250 to $1,500, or even as high as $2,000 per person, you can do so, and you can just make the adjustment to the premium cost. Now, very, very rarely will you see a group dental plan, especially for a small group, offer a $2,000 annual maximum benefit per person. You just typically don't see it that way. So that these are you have the opportunity to offer comprehensive level benefits to your groups, if that's in fact what you want to do, and if that's what they want to do. Okay. So I'm gonna leave this information with you to take a look at. I think once you look at it more, it'll be pretty consistent with what you see. Our base plan is pretty consistent with what you see in the marketplace, the 180, 50, 50 benefit level with 6 month waiting periods for basic and 12-month waiting periods for major and ortho. Again, those waiting periods would automatically be waived if your group is coming off of current coverage from another carrier, or if they're not eligible, if they don't have current coverage and they still want to waive the waiting periods, they can pay the 11% upcharge and have them waived under that scenario as well. Okay. Now I do have, as far as anything that's based in Kentucky, what you've heard so far really has to do specifically with Indiana-based groups. Delta of Kentucky, our counterparts at Delta Kentucky, who we're working very closely with too in partnership with One Southern Indiana, they're in the process of finalizing their marketing pieces. I do have rates, the same type of rates that you've seen here in your folder. The base rates, I do have those if anybody would like those, but just know that will be forthcoming very soon. Same type of underwriting assumptions as well. And same type of adjustments, potential adjustments with the deductibles and the annual maximums if you have a group that's in Kentucky. Okay. Any questions so far?